Hello, everyone. For some, fear is a tool ensuring survival. For others, an opportunity to find themselves and become stronger. The majority are the former, but it's always the latter who remain in history. And today, we will find out what a person who has overcome the fear of heights is capable of. I must immediately say that I strongly discourage repeating what you will see, as it can seriously harm your health. And now let's go! California, United States of America. A mysterious adrenaline junkie in a mask shocks the YouTube audience by broadcasting absolutely reckless jumps without a parachute. And he does things that would make a normal person's blood run cold. He has become so popular that he has attracted the attention of ABC News. The footage shows a guy, without any safety gear, jumping from the height of an 8th floor with GoPro cameras and landing just a few inches away from a stone dock into the water. California bloggers are left guessing whether this is a covert advertisement for GoPro, a manic addiction to a new dose of extreme sensations, or a not entirely sane way of asserting oneself. Many know Chase Rainford as the founder of the popular channel Adrenaline Addiction, and also for the incredible cliff jumping, which this guy and his team can turn into a real show. Traveling by helicopter to the most beautiful places in California, Vermont, Utah, and Oregon, the jumpers test their fate wherever possible. They get excited when there's a chance to break their own or set a new world record. Meet, for those who are not yet familiar, Felix Baumgartner, an Austrian parachutist and base jumper, for whom the title of First has long become part of his surname. He was the first to parachute off the Petronas Tower, the first to fly across the English Channel on a carbon fiber wing, and the first to jump off the 98th floor of the Taipei 101 Tower. But all these records are just a light warm-up before the main event in his life, a jump from the stratosphere. On October 14, 2012, Felix jumped from a stratospheric balloon that had risen to a height of 39 km, developed a supersonic speed of 1,350 km per hour in free fall, and opened his parachute at a height of about 3 km. 4 minutes and 20 seconds after the jump, he successfully landed in the vicinity of Roswell, New Mexico. More than 8 million people witnessed 2 world records for peak fall speed and jump height. And what we see, friends, is worthy of admiration and, of course, a like. Luke Aikins is the first person in history to prove to the world and himself that it is possible to jump and safely land from a height of 7,600 meters without a parachute at all. The jump from a light aircraft over the city of Simi Valley in Southern California took place on July 30, 2016. The free fall lasted 2.5 minutes. Accelerating to a speed of 193 km per hour, Aikins technically flipped face up and literally rammed into the net, located at the height of a 20-story building. And this is considering that the size of the net was only 30 by 30 meters, and the distance to it at the moment of the jump exceeded 7 kilometers. The 42-year-old athlete spent 2 years preparing for the stunt. However, Aikins is not just an incredible lucky man who decided to grab fate by the scruff of the neck at some point. He has 18,000 parachute jumps to his credit, and many years of experience as an instructor with the best parachutists on the planet. By the way, it was Luke Aikins who performed the most complex aerial stunts in the movie Iron Man 3, and, together with Joseph Kittinger, brilliantly prepared Felix Baumgartner for his triumphant jump from the stratosphere. In order to jump without a parachute from a height of 7,000 meters, Luke Aikins trained for 2 years. But our next hero, a hot Finnish guy, a skydiver Antti Pendikiainen, probably just didn't have this time at his disposal. Or maybe it's much simpler, and the Pendikiainen just forgot to put on a parachute. Either way, the guy still made his extreme escape from the basket of a hot air balloon, which rose to a height of 4,000 meters. Exactly 40 seconds into free fall, having caught up with his partner, Antti grabbed onto his gear and descended to the surface of the Earth whole and unharmed. If you think about it, jumping with a bare torso without a parachute from a height of 4,000 meters, counting on random contact with a neighboring parachutist, the risk equals strong madness. Probably this is even more risky than what Luke Aikins did, jumping from 7 kilometers. After all, if the wind had carried the partner away just a little further in 40 seconds, everything would have ended differently. And what do you think? Who still took more risks? Tell us in the comments. The first base jumpers were Chinese acrobats, demonstrating jumps from the roofs of city houses to the public and using small parachutes as early as the 12th century. Since then, however, parachutes have changed and houses have gotten taller. In April 2014, French extremists Vince Raffet and Fred Fugan set a new height record in base jumping in a wingsuit from the top of the world's tallest building, the 828-meter Burj Khalifa skyscraper in Dubai. As reported by The Verge, the sponsoring company Skydive Dubai made sure the base jumpers were comfortable and installed a special platform at the top of the skyscraper. To avoid having to reshoot, the jump itself was filmed on several cameras, including a GoPro. After dramatically circling the building against the backdrop of the morning sun, Vince Raffet and Fred Fugan opened their parachutes and landed safely. The tower that Ricky Charles dared to climb in front of hundreds of spectators in 1987 was 54 meters high. Now before your eyes, a world record will be set, which lasted almost until our time. In 2015, Ricky Charles was replaced on the Olympus of fearless daredevils by Swiss Lasso Shale, who jumped from a 59-meter cliff. The athlete's free fall took 3.5 seconds, hitting the water at a recorded speed of 123 km/h. In the world of daredevils and conquerors of peaks, they knew well about professional skier and snow extreme lover Jamie Pierre, who set many still unbeaten records for jumping from mountain peaks. James holds the absolute world record for ski jumping from mountain cliffs, 77 meters. Pierre made this jump in April 2007 at one of the resorts in Wyoming for a film by Tennant Company, a study of the force of gravity. In a cruel irony, on November 15, 2011, at the age of 38, Pierre died from a traumatic brain injury as a result of a small avalanche at an American ski resort. 56-year-old American Darren Taylor, also known as Professor Splash Shocks, with his ability to splash water out of a children's inflatable pool by jumping into it from a height. Of course, we're not talking about record heights, and yet, even the most authoritative cliff jumpers do not dare to repeat what Darren does. You probably noticed that the video was shot in winter, more precisely in February 2011. This is not a coincidence, as Taylor claims. The density of slightly frozen water is slightly higher, which allows to slow down the landing for a fraction of a second and more accurately coordinate your actions. Naturally, skill level lets the extreme sports fan redo the jump anytime throughout the year. In order not to crash, falling from 11 meters into a 30-centimeter layer of water, Taylor uses several proprietary secrets at once. For a successful jump, it is important to take into account the direction of the wind, air temperature, time of day, and remain calm. He admitted in his interview with the Daily Mail, Taylor plays fair as he lands on just ordinary water, but still, he prefers to put foam mats under the bottom of the pool, which will help to avoid a fatal outcome if anything happens. Robbie Madison didn't end up on our extreme list by accident. He's one of the few motorcyclists on the planet who spends more time flying than riding. Rob is often compared to the famous stuntmen of the past, Evel Knievel, but many are convinced that there has never been anyone equal to Robbie. His spectacular jump off the ramp, which made it into the Guinness Book of Records, is worth mentioning. After fitting his bike with Supermoto tires, he accelerated to 71 miles per hour, managed to fly 374 feet, reaching a height of 183 feet at the highest point. In 2010, after accelerating his bike to 77 miles per hour, he did something incredible. He flew over the 279-foot Corinth Canal, and in January 2012, he jumped from ramp to ramp over the San Diego Bay. But one of Madison's most spectacular stunts, which we simply cannot fail to mention, was not a jump, but a trick no less dangerous. Conquering an ocean wave on a motorcycle at one of the beaches in French Polynesia. And if Robbie continues to explore the planet at the same pace, in a decade, the only places left unconquered by him will be the calderas of supervolcanoes and the Mariana Trench. We recommend the Orange Channel, Incredible facts, mysterious incidents, and funny stories from life. In short, everything for your good mood. Subscribe right now. The link is displayed and in the description. And that's all, friends. Hit the like button actively, share this video with your friends, and see you next time.